Okay. You comfy?
Yes.
Look this way.
Paw Patrol.
Yeah. Here you go. I got you some Paw Patrol tissue.
Here's a little opening. The beginning.
Yeah. When did you find out?
I was sitting at the table with my oldest brother, which was 9 or 10. We all 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So we were sitting there, and I think my little brother got in trouble or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably was, like, that's why you got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was, that's why my mama bought you from a candy store.
Oh, snap.
So I instantly was like, she didn't buy me from a candy store. And then my oldest brother just looked like, did you just say that? Like, he didn't say nothing, but his face was like, he was more of the protector.
Yeah, like why you tell her.
Yeah. So, of course, after we ate whatever, I went into my room and I thought about it. So I asked my mom. She said, well, we'll talk about that when we get a little older and I'll explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point then, I figured the story was true. I got bought from a candy store. Because,
Wow.
I was 6 or 7 when I found out.
And if it's not true, why didn't you just say it's not true?
Right. She never said that.
Okay.
So as time went on, I was definitely hurt. But I didn't understand why she waited so late to try to explain it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was in the 8th grade. And that's when she decided to talk to me. So I was like 13, 14, on my way to high school.
Wow. So in between that time, what?
No conversation about it whatsoever.
What did you think? Did you know, did you know anything about adoption? Was it, maybe kids at the school? Had you heard anything about it?
No, but I looked at my brother and my little brother, and we all look different. So I figured, like, hey, she might have bought all of us from the candy store because I was a kid.
Right, okay.
So, thinking back, it was just like more of a hurting feeling. Like, why would you, if I was adopted, why would you wait so late? And I wasn't in the 8th grade. I think I was in the 7th, and my teacher was Mr. Hines. He was the best math teacher ever. Loved him to death.
Okay.
And I remember my mom worked at the school with us. So I remember she was like, well, today when you come home, we'll sit down and talk. Me and my mom always read books together. She was an educator or whatever. And she always had a rationale for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. So she told me she didn't tell me at that young age because she didn't want me to feel different. But I always felt different because I was the only girl, not because of an adoption or anything. I was the only girl.
Gotcha.
So me and her relationship was not, it was more of a structured relationship, not a loving relationship. And then I saw different with the boys where I felt that she loved them and they didn't have no structure, any structure. So that was the beginning of the story.
So before, like, did you have any feeling of like not belonging outside of, just feeling like you had the structure but not as much of the love? Like, was there anything when he said it that made you feel like, oh, well, now something makes sense? Or was it just totally a shock?
I think that it was more of, I always felt something.
Okay.
I wasn't a clingy kid, and I used to get in trouble for that. My mom used to be like, well, you always hug your dad and you never hugged me. But I didn't really hug him, he hugged me. It was different.
Okay.
And because I was a girl, that's probably why he felt like he had to be the protector. It wasn't a lot of hugging and kissing that I ever saw in our family.
Not even with the boys? Okay.
Not even with my cousins, my mom's sisters, nobody. When I used to go with my grandmother, none of that. There was no hugging. It was go get that switch off the tree because you didn't do this. It was more disciplinary all the time. Like, I think that's where my mom came from. Like, everything was structured. But I knew when he said it, I felt something, but I didn't know what I felt at that young age. But I never felt like I looked like none of them. All of them looked different. We all was from the candy store. Okay. Yeah, so that was the beginning.
So, how's that conversation go?
Ooh, I was angry. I was real angry. she told me stuff that I felt that at that age I shouldn't have known. She told me she lost a child in between my brothers.
Okay.
And she told me like a horrific story that I won't go into detail about, but it was between her and my dad. And it was a horrific story to me.
Okay.
As a kid, knowing like what she went through as losing a child.
Yeah. Like you didn't have to tell me that part?
Yeah, you could have kind of left that part out.
Okay.
And then after that, I kind of felt more so that I was like chosen. Like she chose me when she went. But come to find out, she wasn't able to choose. She just wanted a baby and she wanted it to be a girl.
Okay.
So she told me that my dad wasn't for adoption. But she lost this baby and she was adamant about replacing the baby. So I was the replacement baby. And she never went into like who my parents were or anything like that. It was just, this is how it happened. I adopted you. I was adopted at, I was born in January. My adoption was final. I think it was like April or May that I was placed into the house.
Okay.
She just told me that and she left it like, boom, you were adopted. This is what happened. And boom, like deal with it. She never asked me how I felt. She was really concerned because I was the replacement baby and it was for her. It wasn't for my benefit. And we never really had no conversation about it moving forward. So as I got older, I just knew that I was adopted. And I just left it at that.
What was your mindset going forward? Because at this point, like you're heading into high school and, you know, emotions and hormones and, you know, all of that. That's a lot going on at one time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say going into the 9th grade, my mom and dad separated and filed for divorce.
Okay.
So then you had those emotions on top of, like my dad was like my safe haven. Of course, I wanted to stay with my dad. His work afternoons, and he was like, "You're a girl, you'll be here by yourself at night." He didn't want to do all that. So
right, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would have been bad, worse than I was. So I ended up moving with my mom. In my first year of high school, I got a boyfriend, which was my brother's best friend. And he was older. I was 9th grade, so 13, 14. He was already graduated high school.
Okay.
He was in his last year of high school. So I'm in the 9th, he in the 12th. He wasn't really going to school or whatever. But we had these conversations because his parents had been together forever. Like he was a baby, their first baby. And it was like he felt different too.
Yeah.
So I always felt different. And me and him got close. We talked. And at that age, I was like, when I get older, I am going to look for my parents, you know. Without you young and life happens. And so another tragedy is my boyfriend ended up dying because he was cleaning a gun and fell down the steps and it killed him.
Oh my goodness.
So he was the oldest and it was a lot of emotions with that, like the disconnect with my mom. I think I looked at him like a father, like my dad wasn't there, but me and him could have these similar conversations, but on our level, not as a father-daughter, but as just a general conversation that we've always had. And so when he died, my mom wouldn't let me go to the funeral. So I really felt another loss. Like I felt defeated. Like, but my brother ended up going.
No closure.
Yeah, there was no closure. My brother ended up going, brought me the obituary. And his family was very open to me, always coming down there or whatever, because we stayed 2 blocks away. So I would go down there. They let me get stuff out of his room, letters that I wrote him. So that helped me heal in that aspect. I don't know if I ever really healed from that because it was so tragic, but I moved on. So So during high school, I tried to stay busy. Cheerleader, volleyball, stuff like that. I always was a smart kid though. My mom was an educator, so always A's and B's. So graduating high school, didn't finish high school. I ended up getting pregnant, and I had my oldest child at 18. And during that transition, a lot of other feelings came, like, oh, I'm gonna have my own child. In my mind, I planned, I'm gonna have my own baby that's gonna love me for me, unlike what my parents did. Well, I would say my mom. And I planned to get pregnant, and that was I'm not gonna say that was a bad decision. That was my decision at that age. I planned to get pregnant to get away from this, the environment growing up with the mom like I had, to me, was hostile. But it wasn't hostile, it was structured now that I look back. But to me, as a kid, it's hostile. You can't go nowhere, you can't do this. I was sneaking out the house. I'm like, I'll just be grown. I'm gonna have a baby, me and my baby will move on.
Did you ever, at maybe like getting older, did you ever feel that like that was her way of showing love? You know, like it wasn't just, did you ever feel like it wasn't a prisoner type situation, but more of just being, you know, protective of you, you know, like being afraid to lose you?
Yeah, I think that was her way of, I'm not gonna say control, I think that was her way of, like you said, love. She didn't know any different. Like, I think we learn how to love from our parents. And if we don't receive the love from our parents, we look for it in other people or other things. Like people go to drugs, they become sexaholic, drinkaholic, whatever. And
shopaholics, ruin their credit and all that.
Right. So I think that's where I was going with it, with her. Like, I just wanted somebody to love me for me. Like, I was lost at that age. So after I had my daughter, it was just like, she sent me, when she found out I was pregnant, she sent me to girls' home. I went to Sarah Fisher Homes, which is in Southfield, 12 Mile. It's where you send your daughter if she get pregnant and you don't plan for her to keep the baby. It was the hush hush, and I went with a lot of Caucasian, Mexican girls, a lot of different nationalities, and it was eye-opening, totally eye-opening. It was, my mom sent me here, but I'm going back home after I have the baby, giving the baby up for adoption. Or my auntie Susie's going to raise the baby. She can't have kids, so.
And they plan.
It was
like
a
that
plan.
They're going to take the baby once the baby is born. Wow, you don't have any option or any say so.
Well, it wasn't their say. It wasn't that they didn't have a say so. This is what they discussed with their families.
Okay.
So I didn't discuss anything with my mom. So I'm just thinking, okay, I'm gonna have my baby and I'm gonna go back home. Well, but the benefit was I got my high school diploma. We had 3 meals a day. We went to school every day.
Okay. Were you like a ward of the state temporarily or something like that? Okay.
No, I wasn't a ward of the state. I got emancipated while I was in there. I got emancipated at 17.
Okay.
So I was my own responsible party. So that's how you were able to get on assistance.
Gotcha. All right.
So after that, I thought I was going home, and my mom put me into another home. And this was called Lancaster Homes. This was located in Detroit. And it's where you go after you have a baby and you learn how to be a parent. You still had to go to school. You couldn't have a phone. Your phone was the house phone. Okay. And you had certain hours that you could be on this phone. And so at this point, I was totally lost. Like, I wish I knew where my mother was. Like, I wanted my biological mother, because I was going through so much. You got a new baby. Your mother that you have, you thought you were going home to her, and you didn't. So I went through a whole lot of emotional turmoil within myself.
Right. Like being given away twice almost.
Yeah, or not wanted, being wanted.
Right.
And as a reflection of that in my life, and now I realize that that's my whole issue. If somebody doesn't want me, to me that's a form of rejection, and I don't know how to. I still to this day I'm learning how to deal with it.
So you have this baby, and you, baby's dad, living together, and you're 25 before you think about finding your parents again.
Yeah. So fast forward, and now I have 2 kids and a new husband.
Okay.
And I got married at 21. And I didn't think about it then. Because I was like, okay, I got a new family, new start.
Right.
You know.
Focused on your babies that belong to you.
Right.
Right.
And definitely married a man that didn't have any children and genuinely loved my children and just adored us. So it was different. It was like, oh, this is it. Now I got a sense of belonging. So fast forward in the marriage, you still feel some days you be wanting, you just feel like, it's something. And you never know what it is. Graduated from nursing school, became a nurse. Might as well say middle class, successful. Both of us working parents, kids in private schools. Then you decided, I'm going to say around 25, 26, that something's missing.
Okay.
So in the back of your mind, you're like, well, maybe this was all the way along. Still missing, you just submerged it. Like you just forgot about it and put it on the shelf and said, I'm going to pick it up later.
Right.
Started talking to my husband about it. And he was like, oh, you should. But it wasn't a push. He never pushed me. So I was like, nah. So ended up having his first child. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got 3 babies. What would she think about it? Like, I'm probably not even what she would expect. I probably should be more. And it was just like, I had all these thoughts racing.
Right.
My adopted mom used to tell me that I should have been a doctor. Like she told me when I graduated from nursing school, she was like, oh, okay. Like that was nothing. Like it wasn't an accomplishment. She didn't come to my graduation. It was just like total rejection. And I was just like, wow, she's not even proud of me. So what will my biological mom feel? I was like, no, I can't go find her now. I got to get my life together, get on the straight and narrow, buy a house, get cars, kids, and life happened. I just stopped thinking about it.
And that's something that, a lot of people do that. Like having this overwhelming desire, for approval from,
definitely,
and sometimes from people that, are not really even in a position, to give anybody approval. You know what I mean? Like they, not from people that can set the bar, in your life on whether you're doing good or not. Like you can be so successful and doing so well and making all of this personal progress, and you can be in a place where you really are feeling good, about yourself and what you've accomplished, but just that thought that someone else thinks what you've accomplished isn't a big deal, can sometimes just like shatter you, just send you, just poke a pin, poke a pin in your little parade balloon, you know what I'm saying? And even when you say wondering what your biological mom might think, but for her to even, be in a position, to maybe not be able to raise a child is like, an indication that like maybe this is not somebody that can judge me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't take away from that human, desire to still want to make this stranger, so to speak, proud.
Proud, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to make her proud. So I was stuck in that feeling. Like I wanted to make her proud, and I never thought I was good enough. I think I had one conversation with my dad about it, and the only thing he said is, you have to do what makes you feel complete. Nobody can complete you but you. It's not going to be another person. It's not going to be a child. It's going to be you. And I had to dig deep, real deep, to say I wanted to find my mom.
Okay.
Life happened, like I said. Ended up getting a divorce, and I was devastated. Another devastation. Oh, getting a divorce. And then I think I threw myself into being a child again. I wanted to be young again. Got 3 babies now. No, 4. I had another baby during that marriage. So I have 4 kids now. I wanted to be young again. I wanted to party. I wanted to experience life not being an adult. But I think that's my way of coping with being an adult. And the hurt and the pain, it was an easy way to cover it up. Like I said, people have their own desires or their own addictions when they go through stuff. You're addicted to something.
Certainly.
You're looking for something. And I was looking for a feel. Like I felt good to go to the club and dance and have a drink, socialize around other people. I felt accepted. I felt this is where I belong. Like I liked it. So moving forward, I just never thought about it. I went through a lot of bad relationships, dating after that, trying to find myself. Never really sitting down looking for myself. Just, I'm gonna find myself. I'm gonna be by myself and find myself. But I never really found myself actually during those times. And that was the most, I guess, let down that I had in my life. Like I thought I was looking for something and I would find it, but I didn't. And when my father died, I didn't want anything else but to be by myself. So I packed my last 2 kids up that are now almost grown. Well, not almost grown, but my last 2 kids. I packed them up and I moved to Arkansas, and I was running. And when you run from stuff, it seems to always come back full circle.
Yeah, when you run, you take you with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sitting there going through life, I enjoyed, where I was. It was no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
You got your daily stressors of what kids, school, different environment. But no stressors. I have no reason to be upset about anything. Then I got to the point where I need to find my mom. I'm getting older. I have paperwork that states that my mom was 15 years old when she had me. So that means she's 15 years older than me.
Okay.
And every time I would calculate it, I'd be like, okay, she'll be 60 or she'll be 75. What are you waiting on?
Yeah.
But I think my biggest fear of finding my mother is the acceptance. I don't want the rejection. So I think that's why it has taken me so long in this journey to try to find her, because if she say no, I don't want to meet you, or I have no desire to know who you are at this point in time, it's a form of rejection, and I don't know where I'll be or how I'll accept that, because that's the hardest part. So I think I just got stronger over the years, and the tears for me will probably come when she says, "Hi, I'm your mom." I think that's gonna be the breaking point for me, because I've waited for so long, and if she's not alive, it'll still be someone to tell me what she was like.
Right.
And for people that go on this journey and never find out, or say, hey, I'm okay with it, I don't ever want to know. I think that if it's possible, that you should know.
So you've decided to do to start with 23andMe?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And the kit is already ordered and
sealed, and mailed. So we'll give you all that information on our next go around.
Great. How you feel about that? About her, finally like moving forward with this journey?
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it comes with, getting to know everything about yourself when you're, when you into your self-love and trying to get everything together with your mental. I think that type of stuff helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on this journey for the kids. I have 5 babies, 4 grown.
Mm-hmm.
And when they ask, hey, are you ever going to look for your mom?
Right.
I think that this journey is really for them. Because, not that I'm over it, but I've got to a place in my life where it's important more than anything for them. Before you go day by day in your life and, eventually I'll do it, and you run out of time. Now I don't want to run out of time. I want to know, and I want them to know. If it's not anything but for their history and their health. Because with the day and time that we're in right now, that's a lot.
Right. Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, let's take that journey.
Yes, we're on our journey.
Way back. Back into time. All right. You're supposed to be the one crying, not me. Give me that Paw Patrol tissue.